All right, just started the recording. Okay, so let's see what's going on. Um, Let me see. I think earlier in the morning, the 655 was a floor, if I remember correctly. Looks like 7-Eleven. Yeah, we have 7-Eleven also as a floor. Wait, let me switch over here so it's less confusing. Yeah, 7-Eleven held well here on this retrace. Oh, that would have been a good play. What was this? 954. Okay, that's before I actually start looking at this stuff though. Okay, and then on QQQ, we're coming up on this stack of ceilings, right? I'm not sure if this was there earlier, but we did get a strong rejection off of that. Like what, 20 minutes ago? So we still have that stack of nodes there. SPX, I mean, yeah, we're still getting pretty big divergence across the indexes. Like SPX retraced a lot further than QQQ. But SPX we have 7150, 7155, kind of a reverse rug pull, but we still have not cleared 7150, right? So if we still hold that positive node, we can still double top up here, right? Which would align with QQQ. Um, any kind of double top, 7-Eleven is a bit of a floor here. So it's more of a scalp. Like I'm not expecting some huge move downwards, but that's probably what I'd be looking at right now. Or the inverse would be just come and wait and see if we tap 7-Eleven again. Other than that, yeah, I might be. I guess on SPX, I'd probably be waiting for a bit higher. We get closer to double top, or maybe if QQQ can sweep. Likely, what'll happen here is NQ will sweep this high before ES does, so then you kind of get that double top going. Hmm. Let me see if I can. Yeah, let me see if I can pull up futures here on a different window. See if maybe Juan's strategy pulls up something that we can look at. Give me a second, y'all. Got like 20 windows. All right. SPX either get through 7150 something. AP, yeah. I mean, yeah, we have to get through 7150, but also QQQ has to get through 659, 660, right? So we kind of have it on both maps there that we need to grind through those levels. And even SPY, like I know 7-Eleven is the strongest node on SPY, but we are like in a very big, like this is all positive volume here. So again, like we're having a lot of positive volume across the board, so also take that into account. No, Nate. So positive volume means we're gonna have more like dampened price action, so it's gonna be a little bit more slow moving. Is the general expectation. Negative volume usually means we're gonna get more volatile. So Nate, whether it's positive or negative, we can have a reversal, right? If it's a strong node, right? So if we have relative to everything around it, if it's very strong volume node, like the number's very large, we can reverse off of either one. So for positive versus negative, Nate, I'd recommend go read through the Academy. Like, John put a lot of time into that, and he explains it very well on how the different regimes will interact with price, right? Yeah, no problem. So I mean, yeah, in this case, we are coming up on ceilings. So in this case, we're saying puts because of that. but it's not because it's positive, right? All right. Okay, so at least for the moment, yeah, I mean, yeah, at least me personally, I'll usually wait for a sweep of some level. So not I wouldn't do anything until then. We do have the support resistance actually from yesterday though on ES. Whoa, that's not where I meant to draw that. Oh, what the? Yeah, so I have this support resistance here that's holding. NQ has that level much higher. So again, like the divergence here showing pretty clearly. Um, yeah, apart from that, that's about it at the moment. So I'd probably be waiting, see if we can sweep. But like, yeah, you can. I mean, you can justify early entry here, right? Like we bounce within $4 of the 7,150, and we are also tapping into 659. But again, it's one of those things where you're probably not entering full size there, right? Probably just a starter position or. And if we keep dropping, yeah, we keep eyes on 7-Eleven again. 7-Eleven's kind of operating solo, right? So we don't really have good, not great confluence there. Um, but we do, yes, we do also have this wick here. QQQ, SPX, we have this wick from like the 954 candle. Which can also be level to look at. Oh, John's off his phone. 7180. It's staying kind of flat. So yeah, again, I mean, both SPY QQQ were in this stack of positive volume. So yeah, these aren't. Yeah, I was hoping with the gap down we could maybe get an expanded, slightly larger range. It seems right now is still pretty limited range, similar to yesterday. But yeah, let's see how this develops. All right. Yeah, so again, we're probably gonna get yeah, like NQ definitely a lot stronger than ES, right? So what may happen here is we're gonna sweep this wick. Let me see. Yeah, we'll likely sweep this wick on ES before we go sweep it on NQ. Pretty easily at that. Okay, wait, my futures chart was really high time frame. Sorry, not really high, but higher. That's why this kept looking different. 3 minute. Yeah, there we go. Geez, are they gonna miss this sweep? They're not sweeping any levels on these reversals. It's annoying. Yeah, NQ didn't even sweep the overnight lows when it bounced up in the morning. Okay, yeah, now we're seeing SPY 712 is seeing some growth, right? So previously 711 was the main floor, now it looks like they're a lot more equivalent in value. Yeah, this is just yeah, SPY QQQ matching basically on their maps right now. Yeah, Nick. If we chop all day like yesterday, this is not gonna be this is not gonna be too fun. Hoping that's not the case. Arlissa, yeah, Iron Condors should do well. Yes, like the issue is that premiums have been deflated, right? So like you can still pick up a bit of premium, but it's not as good as what was previously, like what we were picking up probably like a month or two ago. But yeah, completely. Like Iron Condors should work well, or I think some people, I think it's Martin, I think that he does Iron Flies. So like there's some other strategies that are available. But yeah, a lot of times that's a good point with FOMC tomorrow. A lot of times we'll get pretty stagnant leading into it. Also, after like a large overnight move, a lot of times we'll also just consolidate for a while, right? But yeah, if we start coming down, tapping 711 again, this is now third test of that level, right? So in this one, it's ES. We're now tapping this level third time. So we probably don't want to be playing that bounce with as much probably size, right? But we are still looking at NQ. NQ is nowhere near that, right? So again, the divergence here makes it a bit tricky where you're seeing one where one level's tested a bunch of times on ES, but on NQ, this is, we saw a very strong wick there on the bottom. QQQ, yeah, so if SPY also does lose this level, we also have QQQ has good support down here near low of day, like 656, 655. That's probably where we'd then be expecting next resistance or support, I mean. But yeah, we're still holding the 711, 7140-ish. But 658 has lost some volume actually. Or sorry, gained some volume. Why is my velocity not? Oh, there we go. Why is this thing? My computer's slow. Yeah, Vex giving us a pretty even split. The other thing, yeah, that's what I figured. Okay, so the other thing is like with FOMC tomorrow, I think there's a lot of other news being released. Like a lot of times there's very big catalysts, right? So for example, SPX, SPY, QQ, they're all missing either their largest positive or negative node on today's expiration. So it's also a good idea. Oh, shoot. Wait, sorry. Also a good idea to just check out what's going on with those maps individually, like the standard map. Um, Okay, so okay, yeah, I remember this node. So yesterday it looked like we were going to stay flat SPX. Now obviously we gapped down, so this 7200 stayed to the upside. SPY has a very large downside node, and actually tomorrow as well. Well, not too much downside tomorrow, but this is for Thursday. And then QQQ, I'm not aware of where was the largest negative node. Oh, QQQ, this negative node is not significant at all. It's 9,000. So yeah, we kind of have the SPY node has really been the one. This one was pretty large a few days ago, I think. And even into Friday, right? We have another one over here at 695. So quite a bit of downside actually on SPY. Whereas SPX showing the 7200, but as we just gap down away from it, I would expect this node may start shrinking off actually. I'll have to see how, I'll check how this one develops later in the day. But yeah, that's always something to note. Like I'll usually toggle a couple times with the color palette, this color palette off and on, just to double check that I'm not missing any nodes for further expirations. IWM. Yeah, 1 second. But oh, there we go. IWM has a really weird map on Friday. So over the next couple days, looks a little bit more bearish. It's just this 280 node is really what's throwing it off. I would say like IWM looks pretty split. At least for today. Actually, today it looks like we have a pretty good range. I don't. Let me. I never checked the chart on IWM, but let me pull this up. Right. So yeah, I would expect we already hit top of range on IWM. Like we rejected off. Looks like we overshot 266, 276. Sorry. Well, it looks like we hit this 276, 277 zone. So we came, tapped in here. So actually, IWM map looks pretty clean today, right? Where we had these very large ceilings, then we had this big air pocket, and now we're seeing if we can push. So probably be just, if you miss this, then obviously you're just coming down waiting for 272. I wouldn't take it off 273. I'd probably just wait for 272. But yeah, actually, IWM, I'd have to check how the SPX, SPY looked in the morning, but IWM looks really clean for this morning rejection. Uh, NBIS, yeah. Why is it looking kind of crazy? Probably because of earnings this week. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, NBIS, I wouldn't trade this. I mean, you can like yesterday, probably this 140 level was there and held. Like, you got a 8 point, you got like a $7 bounce off of that. But yeah, with earnings coming up, I mean, yeah, let's see, kind of you have 130. 130 is a good level, right? Support resistance flip here. Well, the resistance flip's a little bit higher, but still roughly in that zone. Issues we drop and go hit 130. That might be near earnings. So again, earnings is earnings. So take that play with the appropriate size. Yeah, volume up here 200. I don't know how much MBIS usually moves on earnings, but 200 is still ambitious. Wait, what? May 18? It says that it's tomorrow. Is this wrong? Oh, okay. If earnings is not tomorrow, then well, yeah. I mean, regardless, this is still a messy map. But yeah, I'd probably just be looking at one of these negative notes here. So we kind of have that like that range, and we're just sitting inside that range, right? Like if you want to wait for a very strong level, macro level, you're probably waiting for 120 down here. Just don't know. I don't know if we'll retrace that far. So 120, like you're kind of sitting on the top edge of this chop. But yeah, the 130 level looks decent. Yeah. I get yeah, that 140 level yesterday would have worked out really well. Obviously, yeah, but obviously there, like if you swing anything, like you would have gotten cooked just due to the market gapping down. So I mean it's the usual, the usual lately where it's yeah, swing at your own risk. Although I think I guess it gapped down that much because of there's some open AI news, I believe, is what happened. I think someone had texted me, so yeah. Although I don't know why that's news. I think I've been reading articles about that for like months. Okay, but yeah, on SPX, so now we see a lot of volumes rolled, like 7150 is sort of pushed down to 7145, a bit lower to 7140 as well. Looks like the ceiling's definitely dropping on SPX. SPY, we're still holding the 711, so yeah, I wouldn't say this ceiling's really rolling down, right? Because we're still within it. And QQQ still has the same cluster we've had all day. Um, yeah, so there's two ways to look at this, right? When we have these clusters, what some people will do is they'll wait for the edge, right? So they'll wait for 711 or 713 and just play the reversal, which, obviously today that's gone pretty well. If you wait for 713, 711, like both of these have gone out well. Obviously by now, SPY, the risk here is like we're at a triple bottom, but again, some people just size it lighter, or if you skip due to the triple bottom, that's also fine, right? Just stick to your whatever rules you have in place for that, just stick to them. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty difficult, right? Like um, with all this positive volume, we tend to get a lot slower movement. So I think for anyone that's newer, if this is something we're going to continue seeing, right? And I'm not sure if we will, but like based off yesterday and today, if this is something we're going to get more of, if you guys want to get more practice with this and like back test with this kind of environment, I would recommend you go to the last 2 weeks of February, and trade that period because we saw a lot of the same behavior in that window. So I think it was the last 2 weeks of February, almost positive on that. So yeah, I would go check that out, and that would be it's probably going to be helpful. Where it's honestly something I'll probably go check out as well, where just to get like a refresher of just how some of this movement goes and how some of the maps look, and like you do have to be pretty patient, like very patient on days like these. Because if you're entering early at all, like these moves just they start happening like agonizingly slow, right? So you get in too early, like you end up you get pretty messed up on them. Or they're just very limited moves. So you'll see here we did bounce off 711, but then what? We bounced straight into 7140, which is now giving issue on the upside. So you kind of get these very short stunted moves. So you do either have to trim very quickly or skip it. Like if you're not comfortable taking these smaller scalps, just don't trade it, right? Your puts are burnt. Sluggish. Can you tell me like more details? Like when did you get in and stuff like that? Otherwise, it's hard for me to say. Yeah, hard for me to say much unless I know something else. Oh, they haven't fixed that bug. Man, right, yeah, there's a bug on where anytime you type in a ticker that starts with R, it just like shoves you into replay mode, which I find really annoying. Who asked about this? Stu. Yeah, Stu, we are just sitting on this $80 note. This $85 note is still very strong though. Pushed 82. Yeah, I'll say yeah, we are retesting this 80 from above here at 81 at sorry, at 82 that we sort of rejected from overnight. It is negative, so it can overshoot quite a bit. So usually I'll give it like a note or two, so like 79, 78. If you want to be really safe, you can come down here, wait for this double bottom, but even here it looks like we do have pretty good support on Rocket Lab. Yeah. $80. Yeah, we do have pretty good level back here, right? Kind of have this zone. Let me draw this out. Kind of have this zone like here, supply demand zone. So Rocket Lab looks decent, honestly. Next week is really light on volume, so either you're playing just this week's node, or I guess you could play that OPEX node, but I think May. Yeah, so we have earnings before that OPEX. So you could also do a bit of like an earnings run up kind of play if you'd like. But yeah, there's very little volume next week, so it's a little. I'll probably just keep it to this week. But yeah, yeah, if you're just playing this week, I think that'll could be fine. Greg, new hockey sucks. X. Oh, wait, Shift F is a keyboard shortcut? What does Shift F do? Yeah, I'll be honest. I found the Gex Vex toggle is a lot slower now, which that has been my main complaint. But I don't know. They changed something to make it look nicer. So, no, no, no. What they switched is that when you start typing, it just immediately goes to ticker entry. So it matches trading view. Um, yeah. So that was the reason for the change. Now, yo, Rocket Lab contracts are juiced. What the heck? It's like $200 just to play. BE. I mean, yeah, we can look at BE, but earnings, I don't know. Let me check the chart. Yeah, I don't, I mean, yeah, earnings are earnings. You can target 200, but if we reach 200, it's also a really good spot we can bounce off of. So actually, sometimes with earning, like obviously, if we gap down and like if earnings happens, you can't get into this with options. But I know some people who will play shares, like they'll essentially wait for the earnings wick and just have a limit buy at 200. And if we go hit it, even if we hit it overnight, sometimes those levels will get respected. But yeah, even if we gap down, see maybe if we can gap down not all the way and see if tomorrow this 200 note sticks around and we can play bounce off of that. Or you could take it as a target. I would double check flow though. Like I found that playing just heat maps on their own for earnings is usually not as high of a win rate as you'd think. So I would check flow as well. All right, let me switch back to indexes. Sluggish never answered when he entered his puts. I don't know how those are fried. Is he still in here? No, I guess he left. Yeah, I'll have to. I don't know. I'll text him about that. All right. Whoa. Is there news? 70-point candle? Yeah, I might have missed news. All right. So yeah. So to what's his username in here? Eugene said, Dr. Eugene, right? We're breaking 7-Eleven. We've not tested this level quite a few times, and now we're getting a strong flush through. Next support, like QQQ, we still had the 656 holding some volume. But that is, we're not really getting good confluence across. So then I wouldn't play this as a support. Like that's feeling pretty risky there. So next lower support would be, I mean, SPX all the way down here, 7100. Actually, right as I say that, this is about to hold. Wonderful. Um, yeah, so I mean the low day there on ES, sorry, SPX. ES hasn't swept overnight. Or did it? No. Guess we are getting some fib levels here. Sorry. Yeah, see if one of these low days can give us a reaction. Yeah, we didn't get any reaction on SPY. See if with QQQ or QQQ sweeping overnight lows, right? Overnight low here is aligning pretty well with 654. If 656 doesn't hold, then 653, 654 is our next clump of volume on QQQ. I mean, AP, what do you mean? Is that level to hold? All right, so NQ's taking out low of day. Yeah, honestly, I would just be waiting for overnight lows at this point. I don't know if we got news here, but this is what, 120 points in 5 minutes? 7120 or 7? No, neither of those are significant at all. AP, when you're trying to look at nodes that are significant, just take anything that's like a quarter of the king node. Like that should be your minimum, right? So if we're looking at 12K, I'd be looking for like 3K at least. So if we're looking at, 400,000, like that's not significant enough for me to be looking for any kind of bounce there. But even 7110, like this to me is still too small, if that makes sense, right? So like the reason I mentioned QQQ 654, 653, right? Like this is 653 especially is about like half the volume. A little bit more than half the volume, 658, right? Also we're getting they're really gonna miss overnight lows. And 654, well at the time 654 had more volume. Actually this one shrunk a bit, but at the time 654, actually even now, if it's like 15K, that's still about 25% of what we're seeing at 658. So that's why I was looking for this stack down here. And we just have this overnight liquidity down here from pre-market lows. But yeah, SPX not really helping. It's not going against the thesis of a bounce, but it's not helping. It's not showing us support. Okay. So what we have 27,080. Yeah, let's see. SPY. Yeah, SPY we saw this stack here as well. Like basically this was originally just these three nodes, 701, 713 has now expanded all the way down to 709. So again, SPY, you're kind of just waiting for the fringe of that if you're going to use that as a support. Otherwise, SPY isn't. I mean, it's showing the 711 ceiling, right? So there's potential if we do retrace, we get that level to flip. At least at the moment, let me see here. Yeah, at the moment, I'd probably be waiting for the lower. Yeah, well, I'm kind of annoyed they didn't sweep this level here on NQ. Like that would have been to me pretty good chart-wise, good level to bounce on. I don't know why is my Mac. Wait 1 second. Why did this disappear? All right, and then what else is in here? Is Grant in here? Yeah, so Samina, for anything Kwanyu related, like now we just have massive fair value gaps is the problem here. What's up, man? So I don't know. I don't know if this one's gonna work too well for any of Kwan's stuff. His stuff has been tricky lately too. It's like he's been taking a few entries like outside his model, like off POC and some other stuff like that. So it's been tricky to tell with his stuff. Yeah, this is really annoying. They missed the sweep by like 2 points. But yeah, I mean, yeah, we approached 654, 653, that cluster and bounced there. All right. Um, but now that we are bouncing, right now we're tapping back into 7-Eleven, which, now we say, okay, this likely flipped to a ceiling, right? So strong bounce spot early in the morning. We haven't quite fully tapped it, but we're getting close to 7-Eleven. So then there's, upside pretty limited at this point. 7-100 still getting a lot of growth. So then reversal here also off of basically that level that broke earlier. It's also in play. Yeah, like this divergence is disgusting, right? Like QQQ is not even close to that level that we broke from the morning, whereas ES is like very, very close. Or got within like touching distance. All right. Also, you have a bit of rug pull too, 656, 655. The 655 bit on the weaker side. I guess yeah, continuation, you're saying yeah, for continuation down, just be looking at the 7-Eleven level. But yeah, Sumina, it's not been I don't know if maybe one of these early morning bounces were good, but this at least so far has not been super clear maps. So again, like when we get these like more compressed ranges, right? These gets a little trickier on when we're trading. All right, so again, tap near 7-Eleven. Oh, we're missed it by like 20, 30 cents. Yes. All right. Yeah, at this point, okay, so if we sink a lot further, you'd be looking at 650, 653 probably aligns with 7-100 pretty well, actually. Trying to do this mental calculation. Well, I don't know what the heck this node is doing down here. Specs node is crazy. But yeah, we still no sweep of overnight. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Our list. So yeah, like now 7-120 is getting a lot more growth, right? So now I'd be looking at this saying, okay, now maybe we are seeing an intermediate level step in, right? Um, so like this has finally like crossed, sort of that threshold that I'm usually looking for, if that makes sense. So yeah, so actually to your point, like I think it's still you can still look at some of those nodes that are a bit under the limit, just see if they're getting good growth, right? So in this case, you're saying, okay, like yeah, this is definitely one that you had flagged it actually before, and now that now it did start to pop. Um, but generally, I guess like to keep it simple, I generally don't track them too much until they've actually popped. But so yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Okay. All right, so yeah, now the 7120 stepping in as like good gatekeeper. 709 on SPY also can say has good volume. 709, 710, but again, the like big issue here is just your risk reward isn't massive, so you're just having to play small moves, right? Because you long SPY, you're running into 711. So again, just always try to think of it also that way of where potentially could we bounce off of, but then where as we bounce off, like what volume is going to get in the way of that move. All right. So yeah, 709 is also getting a good chunk of like this node just doubled, right? Past 15 minutes. Those things we're getting stronger floor there. Which that'll roughly align with overnight. Yeah, like I'm still shocked that we're not sweeping overnight. We've been hovering like 5 points above it for a while now. All right, there we go. Finally. So yeah, obviously NQ swept, ES has not, so we have a bit of divergence there. But ES also very close to sweeping. And QQQ, we're coming down on this stack. 654, 653. Spies really tapping into the 709. Early tap for now, but looks like it may start tapping fully later or soon. So yeah, let's see what happens as we get ES to tap into that. All right, so yeah, ES up there. Let's see if we can get a reaction there. Thank you. Actually, also swept this. I don't know what day this is from. Friday. Got a strong wick in the past as well. But yeah, solid chart thesis there. Wait, what? Where am I? If I can get logged into my thing. All right, so yeah, looks like those levels are holding. Yeah, we did get a bit of an overshoot on 7120, right? But obviously, we still give it a bit of that buffer. So yeah, it looks like this is playing out really well right now. So again, for yeah, I guess this shows the importance of either charting futures, making sure you have your overnight levels on SPY QQQ. Like don't only chart 9:30 to 4. Otherwise, yeah. Because yeah, a reaction like this, you're already scalped 20, 30% here, even if this move isn't sustained, right? So that's really the key there is that you're catching this reversal pretty on the dot, especially if you're using this ES level. 7114 to 7108. Gap from when? Oh, I see. Yeah, we never filled this gap actually. We got close. So you mean like the daily gap, AP? I generally I generally don't track those, but I do know a lot of times they will fill, right? Is the logic there? But yeah, I mean like the fact that it didn't fill the first time is a pretty good example of like why I usually don't like to track them. Because the one you mentioned, right? It filled like 70% and then never got the whole way through. But yeah, now that we've come and visited again, there's a chance we fill it. But yeah, I won't. I don't know. Like my big issue with those is like you never know, is it gonna fill tomorrow, next week, 3 months from now? Like we still got Liberation Day gaps to fill. Actually, I don't know if that's true, but from before that, I think there's some gaps. But yeah, 709 picked up a ton of volume now. Will SPY drop to 705? Sluggish, where are you getting that number from? Probably not. Just to answer that. Like we have 7100 as a strong floor. That's well above 705. So I wouldn't expect it. But yeah, I don't, where are you getting that? Yeah, I'm just curious where you're getting that value from. Yeah, but you said 705. 705 is your next level down? I'd have to check more macro on that chart. I haven't looked, but yeah, Stu, yeah, it's around seven. I guess on the indicator I have, it's like what, 7100? Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like 707 something. But yeah, to answer your question, sluggish, I would be surprised if we drop that low. So right now it looks like QQQ Spy are trying to hold us here. SPX as well with this gatekeeper, and then if we do drop through, then SPX, you'd be looking at this SPX psych level 7100. But right now it looks like we're still holding these levels on Spy QQQ that I've been looking at. Wait, what the? All right. So yeah, we're still holding these floors. Let's see. Yeah, we got enough for reaction. Let's see if it pushes any higher. So far, pretty small bounce. Yeah, well, I have one funded that I trade. I need to trade it once a week. So every Tuesday I take one trade. Oh, sorry, y'all. But no, so I usually just end up scalping like 10 points on it, and that's it. That's all I'll do with it. I know y'all could hear it though, my bad. Oh, I have stream audio. Oh wait, let me turn that off. That's funny. All right. Uh, so yeah, I mean, we held these levels pretty slow reaction, but yeah, I mean, QQQ still has major volume up here. The 711 has faded off actually, so a lot of volume has stepped in some of these lower negative nodes. 709 really showing like strongest floor of day right now. So yeah, I would say we're still holding all this volume. So it looks like we can get more of a push here. All right. Whoa, Craig, what is this? Uh, oh, thanks, Craig. Yeah, so it's actually a good thing to bring up, right? So a lot of times when we're hovering all-time highs, it's a pretty good strategy to be tracking. How do I sell this? Tracking like what strong sectors are there, what weak sectors, and then a lot of times we stick at all-time highs just through like rotation from one sector to another. So a lot of times for those, you'll want to use the sector ETF, so like XLB, XLC, all of those. See if you can track what sector we can anticipate to have, some weakness or strength soon. Make sure you're sticking to those sectors, right? So a lot of times I actually don't do that too much. I know John does. Like John is pretty big on doing that. All right, so yeah, I mean, yeah, we got like this is a really strong push here, right? So again, you're tracking days low, daily low. I mean, it still would have worked, but you're getting you'd have to been really cheap on your entry potentially. If you're tracking overnight lows, like this play worked out pretty well, right? NQ, we're talking, well, like 20, 25 points of drawdown, and you're getting like 80 points upside. So really nice trade if you're doing that. And then again, the floor, yeah, we're hitting the early side of 654. 709 was basically fully tapped, and then the 7120 that AP had mentioned, right? That gatekeeper stepped in strong. So Pretty solid setup on that one. Um, yeah, I mean, obviously took a little bit to get going, but once you got that push, you got a full move. So again, this is sometimes we'll bounce early, right? So like we did have a bounce before. I almost always will wait for some kind of liquidity to sweep because at least in my experience, I feel that the reversals off that are a lot stronger, right? So that's at least my preference. Yeah, so 720, 7120 held. I mean, we overshot by like $5, but we held that level. Now we're coming on to the support resistance flip, right? So 711 previously where we bounced off of a few times in the morning, like a good three times. That third bounce was really small, but we did get third reaction there. So now we're looking at, okay, this 711, 712 clump of volume, is this going to prevent further upside? It is really only SPY that has that ceiling. Like the SPX ceiling is much higher. The SPX ceiling actually aligns pretty well with QQQ. Like up here at 658, 67140. But it looks like right now the SPY one is holding on its own, the 711, 712. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Any questions on this? On anything that's happened today? Yeah, slowing down a bit there. So yeah, 7-Eleven's giving trouble. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, after this downside and then this bounce up, time where we at 11:05. We might get another chance before lunch, but otherwise, not sure if much else will happen. Yeah, because if 7-Eleven and 709 are holding strong, like now, I mean, yeah, your range is pretty reduced. All right. Yeah, let's see if we revisit these levels, can hold them again. Don't know if we're gonna drop that far, potentially. If we drop that far, probably wait for it to fully sweep too. If we can sweep a little further, get closer to 709, 654, tap a little deeper in. Oh, Sumina, if you're still here, I think guess you can look at this for Quan stuff. Guess we need a retest though, but this will line up with what he does. No, Sumina, I'm saying for downside, like we retest this bullish gap, you get more downside. I think that's how Quan would play it, right? Because we flip red. I don't know if I'd want to short this low though. Feels weird. Yeah, I'd probably ignore that one for today. I don't know what other gap he could have played because he doesn't look at 10 a.m. He only looks after 10 a.m. So yeah, this large gap here just never retested. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to see what he sends out later. I don't see any valid plays off his stuff today. Yeah, you're right. Actually, although that 708 flipped positive. Wait, I didn't even notice that. Did it? I swear it did, right? This was negative a few minutes ago. Got edged. Uh, bearish for value gap. I can flip at 1033. Yeah, that's my point is like that one, it never retested, right? Like he would have had just had this sitting there and then this bullish candle at 11. Like if there wasn't so much divergence, this would have filled, right? But this 11 a.m. candle never tapped into there. Yeah, that got. Oh, he would have played the higher one, right? Because that's the extreme fair value gap. Nick, you know that, right? I think is that's how he treats that stuff when they're stacked. I think that's how he does it. Honestly, we should ask him. We can ask him later. But I believe that's his. That's how he handles those. Yeah, we'll have to check what he posts later. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I got good grasp, and then he'll confuse me with something new. So yeah, well, I mean, like when for him to play the inverse of this, he needs it to clear the higher one, right? The extreme fair value gap. So I'd assume if he's playing downside continuation, he still uses that gap, if that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, let's just ask him later, see what he says. All right. Yeah, for now we're kind of in the middle here, we're hovering around 710. So again, just be waiting. Um, yeah, either a further dip or I guess maybe if we retest 711 to reshort, but I like the 711 level less just because it has less confluence, right? The reason the downside I liked is because we had pretty good levels across all three indexes that could give us a support there. Devoid, scared of a new scan. Um, yeah. I mean, I think it was last Thursday where it looked similar to yesterday where I was like, oh, like, things look very muted, like we're just gonna chop in here. And then news like just obliterated it. Um, so yeah, now the issue is when those days happen again, you kind of get a bit of that fear, right? Of like, okay, potential some news comes out again. But I don't know. I mean, you can only control so much, so just size smaller then, and then that's about all we can do, right? All right. Yeah, we're really starting to chop a bit more. It's freaking yeah. Spy's giving us pretty tight range. SPX is just positive volume everywhere, honestly. Um, Looks like QQQ that 655 actually grew quite a bit, so that may also be our floor here. We kind of have like I can't really call it a reverse rug pull or a rug pull. It's like a sandwich, right? So you have positive below, above and below. So yeah, not too much that I'm looking at right now. Yeah. I don't know. Any questions? I don't know how much longer I'll stay on. If Spy stays pretty nasty like this, might not stay on too much longer. But any questions on the day or I don't know, other tickers that anyone wants to ask? Yeah, otherwise, this may slow down into lunch, so I might not stay on too much longer. All right, yeah, if there's no questions, I think I'll go eat lunch, unless someone has something they need to ask. Otherwise, yeah, I'm gonna go cook lunch and eat. But yeah, hopefully this was. I'll probably do a recap on this. Yeah, I don't think I said it concise enough in this video for me to splice it out, but I'll probably have to make a recap on this low of day. Because that one I think was pretty good setup. Yeah, no problem, everyone. And then yeah, tomorrow I'll do the sessions as normal. I missed last night just because I was driving home. But all right, yeah, bye everyone. Thanks for joining. Good luck rest of the day as well.